Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another taming guide. In this video, folks, I'm going to show you how to tame the Argentavis on Ark Survival Ascended. And in my previous video, I showed you how to tame a Pteranodon. Now, by taming a Pteranodon, we've gained access to the ability to fly, which then in turn allows us to kite and tame an Argentavis. So for this, I'm going to show you two traps, and I'm going to show you everything that you will need to know for the purpose of taming an Argentavis. I'm going to be using a crossbow with the trank arrows to knock it out. In terms of food, it likes the superior kibble. To fly it, or to fly on it, you will need to have a saddle. So the saddle will be unlocked at level 62. You will need 150 keratin and chitin, hide, and of course fiber to craft it. Also, this is what it likes right here. So I said superior kibble, that is its preferred food, but you can also use the raw mutton or raw prime meat as well as normal meat. Now for higher levels, I would recommend using its preferred food, either of course the kibble or the raw mutton. Now let's get to the trap. This is what the trap is going to look like. This is one of the traps at least. And so we're going to place down a stone foundation, and we'll need some walls. Now we want to cycle to the doorways that have just the sides, so it'll be this right here. We're going to go to tall. We're going to go all the way around. Now this is a small and cost-effective trap. It does have a bit of a quirk to it. It might take a couple of attempts to actually get the Argentavis locked into this. So once we've done all three sides of the foundation, we'll leave the back end open. This is where we'll kite the Argentavis in, and the last piece will be a ceiling which we'll place on top. So let me just get this set up. Now with this being quite a small trap, it's both cost effective and it does not require a lot of space to build. As you can see, I can go with my Pteranodon through it, so that means I can kite the Argentavis into it. This is another trap right here, and this is my old trusty trap. Now I'm going to walk you through how I built this. So the basic build is basically a 2x4 foundation, so 2 wide, 4 foundations long. We've used the first doorway. We go 2 tall. One end will have a dinosaur gate and gateway, and on top we'll have the ceilings, and over here we will have pillars, 2 pillars tall. So that's pretty much it. Now I have placed ceilings around the trap because it is built on a bit of a cliff, so that allows me to move around the trap. Now of course, with both of these traps you can build them out of wood and they will be just fine. The Argentavis will do damage to the wood, but not enough to break the trap. So now let's get into kiting an Argentavis and how to use these traps. Right, so with the new AI, the creatures do tend to have a very short attention span, so do be prepared to go back on yourself and re-aggro the Argentavis. I'm not going to fly too far ahead. I have played around with this, and it does seem that even if you do stay close to them, they will tend to lose aggro on you. So most often we will have to re-aggro these. Let's try and get its attention. There we go. Now do be prepared to be hit a couple of times. It does happen, but it is a good sign because that means you have aggroed the bird. Oh, well, the Argentavis in this case. So we'll just fly through it. The Argentavis is going to get stuck into that. Now this is where things get fiddly with this particular trap, because we do need to go around the back and place the walls, the door frames, whatever you want to put up to lock it in. So I do like to try and leave my Pteranodon in front of it just as a little thing to try and keep it focused, but sometimes it does lose aggro on it, so we might need to re-kite it. There we go. Yeah, so we'll need to re-kite it back into the trap. As you can see, it's flying away. So that is, yeah, that is one of the changes that has occurred into the game. So I'll try and do this from the front where the Argentavis is facing. So we've locked off one of the sides. So we'll try and get the top end as well without really getting the Argentavis's attention. It is a bit of a weird cliff that I built on, and there we go, we found the right snapping point. The Argent is now fully trapped in there, and we can knock it out. So as you see right there, I do like to leave my Pteranodon right close to the trap. As I said, that is because I want the Argent to focus on my Pteranodon whilst I'm moving around to do my stuff. In terms of knocking it out, you can use either a long neck rifle with the trank dart. Of course, you can also use the crossbow with the trank arrows, whichever one you prefer. The darts do less damage, so I tend to go for the darts on this, but sometimes I may potentially use the crossbow if I have a high level crossbow. Alright, let's try this with my favorite trap, which is quite good actually. We've got another Argent right here that we are trying to get his attention. Now we are kiting this guy from quite a distance away, and I'll show you why I like the more expensive trap. There's a reason for it. So if you remember with the first one, when the Argent loses its attention, it will fly out. We don't have that problem with this. Of course, this other trap does require more materials to craft, but it is far better to use. And of course we also need more space to craft it because it is a slightly bigger trap. So I'll fly in right here. I'm going to walk the Pteranodon right close to the pillars, run out the back, wait for the Argent to come. When the Argent goes in, it will aggro onto my Pteranodon. It will tank basically a couple of hits. I close the doors, get back on my Pteranodon, fly out, and there we go. We have a trapped Argent in the trap. So that basically kind of removes the need to re-kite it, and the Pteranodon will keep the Argent's attention in the trap whilst I shut the trap. From here on, we just knock it out. And once it's knocked out, you place its favorite food in its inventory. Now, I would suggest using kibble for high level Argent and potentially even starving them out. That is definitely a good method to go for. But it does like the superior kibble. You can of course use prime meat and raw mutton as well as raw meat if you want to do that. But raw meat does affect the taming effectiveness, which of course does mean that you will get fewer levels on your tame. With the strap right here, basically once you've had your Argentavis tamed, you will have to remove the walls at the back to be able to get it out, whereas we don't have that problem with the bigger trap. And that is pretty much it for this. It's definitely worth getting these birds. They are amazing. They have a lot of carry weight. They have a saddle that allows you to craft stuff in their inventory. It acts like a smithy, and they do gain a massive reduction in weight for things such as stone, metal, and all of the other heavy items that you'll be carrying around. So definitely worth picking one of these guys up. And if you want, you can definitely pump damage in these birds and they will do a decent amount. And once you've got to the point of taming an Argentavis and have a good supply of these, you will definitely have a much easier life in Ark. You'll be able to move heavy stuff around. You'll be able to do so much more than with a Pteranodon because they can carry more. They have much more stamina. And I think it's one of my favorite flyers in the game. That is pretty much it for this video, folks. Thank you all so very much for clicking on. I do hope that you found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me and the channel by hitting that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. And of course, as always, until next time, stay safe, folks.